This is weaving on a hand loom. You take thread and you make cloth. I started about 15 years ago. I didn't have much time for it when I was working. Since I've retired, this is what I plan to spend most of my time doing, instead of worrying about a pipeline that will come through right there, just right there outside my window. My house is one of the properties on the path for the pipeline at the moment. I've been trying to research what happens to property values when pipelines go through, and I can't find anything that's equivalent to this particular neighborhood. It's hard to measure because what you can't measure are the sales that don't happen, the showings that don't happen, the clients who think about it and then choose somewhere else. You can't measure the non-activity. But all the realtors I talk to in this area are very concerned about that, and I think the homeowners are very concerned. What I understand about the procedure by which the company compensates people, they say they're just, quote, taking an easement. They don't buy even the land they put the pipeline on, is going to be very minimal compensation compared to what the damage is going to be done to property values, which I think will also then be a damage to the county's tax revenues from real estate. So whatever the company promises about taxes and jobs and fixing it if they break it on your property, whether it's your well or your foundation or your house, I don't think they can fix it. But we all have well water, so we're very concerned about what might happen to the aquifer or the disruption of the groundwater because of the construction process. We have a fairly extreme fire danger up here because we're on the edge of the national forest, we're treed, we have about 250 homes and we have 3 small roads leading out. Basically 2 long cul-de-sacs in this neighborhood. And if there were a fire, it would become a forest fire. And there's no way to put out a gas fire. They, quote unquote, let it burn. Well, letting it burn up here in the trees means a whole lot of homes are going to go and probably a lot of human life. And again, that's a kind of pervasive terror that I think lots of people here are feeling. We don't know. The world is changing really rapidly, and we don't know what's going to happen. One thing we do seem to know is no one will protect us. Apparently all the children on the school bus up here are talking about this all the time. They're frightened of this. There's just an awful lot of damage that's done that can't even be quantified when you do something like this. And the company may change the route, but they publish one thing, then they may change it. But along the way, they've also done a lot of damage to people's lives. By their carelessness, the map they used for the FERC filing doesn't even show this neighborhood. It's a topo map from 1983. This neighborhood wasn't there. This part of the neighborhood wasn't there. So I don't know that they knew it was here. They sat in an office somewhere in Pittsburgh, drew a crayon line on a map. And here we are. And these are the properties and the human lives that are in their crayon line. So we'll see what happens. We've been heartened by seeing the action that our Board of Supervisors took. Our local government officials have been very responsive, and I think they're trying to be very responsible in finding out what the pipeline actually will mean, what benefits it might bring, what damage it might do. But beyond the very local officials, we have gotten no response or negative responses. The gas is not for us. The jobs are not for us. For anyone from around here. There's probably not going to be a lot of manufacturing that will come in and take use of the gas. So we are just the area it goes through, doing its damage on the way to somebody else's use of it and somebody else's profits, not ours. And it feels unfair. If the national energy policy is that we should be using more natural gas and fracking is the way to get it, I think 20 years from now that people are going to look back and say that was a big mistake. That was a dead end and we need to go to renewables. In the interval, it's going to be very hard, but if it is national policy that some people have to bear the burden of these pipelines, then I think there also ought to be a national program that protects us from having to bear individually the kind of cost of this. Every time you see a friend on the street, you don't want to start talking about something that's so depressing. But it's the reality of life here. And again, we want people to know, if not that the pipeline will come through their yard, that if some economic predator comes along and wants to damage their property, the state, the federal government will not protect them. That's something people ought to know if they think they live in a democracy. We designed this house ourselves and built it 10 years ago for our retirement to suit the activities we want to have and the entertaining we want to do while we're here. And it would really break my heart to leave it. But, and I know the pipeline company is not going to pay me for it, so I might have to just walk away. Somebody said during the financial crisis in America, we privatized the profits and we socialized the damage. And that's what's happening here again. I call it environmental predation. And I think our government ought to protect citizens from that. And they don't.